What is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I'm JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dove. With our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
So JJ Wang. For us, maybe no one else in the world, but us and our handful of listeners, a couple of them are probably there. This has been a tiring weekend for the two of us.
Yeah, it's been long. It's long nights. I'm usually in bed by 9. I've had to stay up to like 12. But
Yeah.
we got that big auction draft. I'm sitting here looking at the auction board. I got a few more dollars left, trying to figure out who I want to take. But
Yeah, I was about to say, I realized I opened that up and told nobody what we were talking about. We have this is our one of our bigger, probably league with the most involved people as a whole, top to bottom. But we had our auction draft this weekend. It was a different kind, though. I've never seen something like this. Like, if every person in a league had equal money, had money in an auction draft, you would figure everybody would have between 500 and 300 bucks. Every team, if everybody had the money. But in this draft, one dude was I mean, I credit him because he came into the league and took over a really bad team. So he just traded everything away. He had what was it? $2,100. So it was basically just watching him he got bargains out the wazoo because he had everybody on the board. None of us could do anything. And then there's like 4 people without money. I bought into the draft by trading away my boy Amon Ra just to get into the draft and walked away with some things. Maybe we'll throw in some So yeah, real quickly before we jump into ours, since we're doing the draft, who was your guy that you drafted onto our teams? We will talk later on about our favorite teams, but who's the guy you drafted this weekend that you are super duper excited to have on your team now?
oh, it's my man, George Pickens, man. That's my guy. I mean, he's probably my favorite player in the draft. I don't know why. I remember him as a freshman just coming out and killing it, and then that's pretty much what's stuck in my head. And he's probably my favorite. And Isaiah Spiller too. I'm not really sure what happened to him. I was just going to show how bad have a bad day at a combine and just ruin your stock. But I don't think Spiller is bad. I think he's going to be good. But yeah, I think Pickens and Spiller were my guys.
Yeah, I was super excited. We were talking about it before we recorded. I didn't have a lot of money with him. The other guy having all the money, I had to go and pretty much nickel and dime. I was real excited the first day. I had Chris Olave until there was 2 minutes left. And there was no reason that I shouldn't have been snaked. Like, he could have snaked me 3 hours later, and he still would have got Chris Olave for the same exact price. Because he knew I had 170 bucks. I had 167 sitting on him. There's nothing I could do. And he waited till there was 2 minutes left, and I was like, man, I was a little salty. Though. That's what auction draft does. You go salty, but I was excited. I did walk away with Damian Pierce, so I got some of your favorite football team.
Yeah,
so
you're a lucky man. You're gonna be happy you got that.
Yeah, I mean, you were telling me before you were looking at him, but if you had him, you probably wouldn't have gotten Pickens. I'm gambling.
Yeah, that's probably true. Because I would have had to spend like 144. Yeah, 150 to get Pierce.
I so overbid on him. I just
at that point, like, I can't risk not getting Pickens because honestly, Pickens was the last guy on the board.
Yeah, on auction drafts,
we've been going back and forth on Pickens for quite a while.
I nominated him actually. And auction drafts are weird too. Like, you can't look at auction draft value charts too much because with people in there in this auction draft, Pickens, and it's because it was the end of the draft, went for more than Jameson Williams and Traden Burks combined. And that was because the dude had the run of the board and no one else could outbid him.
It was
our fault. You and me were talking about this. It was our fault.
Looking back, I probably could have bid those guys up a little more, but I was just kind of cautious because he had so much money, and I knew he was going to get them all anyway. I mean, it's been a long, frustrating weekend. But
I mean, realistically though, as of recording, you don't have Pickens yet. It's still another 7 hours.
Oh yeah, Pickens. I don't have Pickens. I mean,
but no one's going to outbid you. It's impossible.
I don't think anybody can outbid me.
It's humanly impossible for you to get outbid. But yeah, you don't
say that yet because
there's not enough money on the board. Like, that's what I mean. Like, there's no. Somebody would have to zero out everybody. So there's no way to get them. You got him. So like, you're bidding $1.79.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. That's how I feel about that.
So what you're telling me is if I give all of my money to that other guy,
He might be able to
Pickens from you.
snag Pickens from
That might be revenge for what you did to me. Okay. Anyway, let's get on to the show. You all don't care about the league we're in. We're going to talk about them though. But this week we are going to jump into. This will be pretty much as we wrap up rookies. I have a couple rookie drafts coming up. We have one coming up. We have a date to be determined as I ended up taking over the commissionership of another stinking league. But hey, it's organized, and we're gonna run a well-oiled machine. If you're in a dynasty, if you're in here near the Dynasty Diamonds
Yeah, sorry about that, man.
well-oiled machine. Yeah. Well, you can come back in and give me a hand now, since all is well. I have
We'll see.
I've calmed the wild beast, and I have everything. Like I've got it all on a spreadsheet. It keeps track of everything. I've nerded it up.
I would never
And
do that.
we're gonna, but this way I don't have to do the math. I don't have to do math ever again. I did a, if you, commissioner note, if you ever have to like keep up with money for like things like an auction draft or you want to do it, I created a Google sheet and it automatically adds up. The Google sheet on the first page tells how much each draft pick is worth. The second page, I literally just type in their money and it adds it up. I don't have to do any work now ever again. It's the same thing like our buddy Doug made for our auction draft. So it's made it
Yeah, I
easy.
mean, if you like, I would never do that. I would always make it as complicated. I'm the guy that would have like the pen and paper, like writing it down, like
The draft we're
subtraction.
doing right now, they do it on pen and paper. They send us a picture. So I was like, I don't want to do it on pen and paper. I got to scratch and scribble, and if my math is wrong, I'm letting the computer be wrong. But yeah, so Commissioner Tricks, use your tools you got. Make life easier. Don't be like JJ Wang here and want to do more work. Make it easier so you can listen to more podcasts and send us more pennies.
My favorite saying: "Work harder, not smarter." It's got me through. It's got me to where I am now.
That's not my favorite saying. I'm the opposite of that. Anyway, we got to get going because I got to go back outside. I got a new grill last fall, and I was waiting until the spring to put it up so it didn't get like winter messed up. But it's a pellet smoker grill with a I got it at Walmart
You missed spring, buddy.
I did. I wanted to get it this summer. So yeah, my other grill literally fell apart, but it's a pellet smoker side, and then it's like the one I had before, and then on the other side it's propane, so it's going to be beautiful. And if I take care of it, unlike the other one, it won't fall apart as I throw it over the edge of my deck.
Yeah.
So it's going to be downstairs. It's going to be fun. We'll get some good meats to throw in there when we do the auction draft in August. So I can't wait.
Yeah,
anyway, let us jump into this week. We're going to pretty much wrap up our rookie discussions. If anybody has any rookies they want us to talk about, we've went over a ton of Magnesium. We're going to bring a couple back, but we're going to talk about overhyped and underhyped rookies that we see coming in. Guys that we're like, maybe they aren't all that they are made out to be. And then guys that everybody else is like, dude, these guys suck, but I think they might be a little good. So I'm going to jump on first, and mine really is almost a gut feeling because 9 times out of 10, you don't trade away someone who you think is a really good player and then say, hey, this guy is going to replace him all of a sudden. So the Tennessee Titans traded away A.J. Brown, and they're like, we're going to get a first-round pick, and we're getting this guy named Traylon Burks, and he's going to fit right in. He looks just like him, and he's going to get the same exact thing after playing for Arkansas for a couple years. Traylon Burks had a great year last year, 66, 11, 1104, and 11 touchdowns. The year before was a decent year, but that was also the COVID year, so he had 55, 8, 20, and 7. So he's not a slouch. Like, I'm not saying that Traylon Burks is going to stink, but I just don't see him being, and I'm not an AJ Brown guy. I have him. I don't think he's terrible, but I don't think I'm as high as others. I traded him away. I still won't give him away for free, but yes, but I just think that the error right now is everybody thinks Traylon Burks is going to step in and it's going to be a seamless change, and that it just doesn't happen, and that's why he's overrated.
Yeah, that's tough. Especially in that kind of offense, right? It's not really a high-powered offense. I mean, of course, they got Derrick Henry. And my newest acquisition, Hassan Haskins, the 1-2 stats. I'm sorry, 1-2 punch. But yeah, no. Anyway,
I got the 2 at that punch. I got the scat back.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But anyway, back. This is going to take me off track this whole show.
Traylon Burks.
Yeah. So Traylon Burks. Yeah. So taking over for AJ Brown, it's big shoes to fill. Like I said, we weren't the biggest fans of AJ Brown, but I do feel like the hype has come down a little bit on Traylon Burks. I don't think it was high as it was. I think people maybe
True.
start realizing like in that kind of offense, it was probably not going to happen, happen right away. So, I mean, I kind of agree with you. He's a little overhyped. I'm still a fan, but yeah, I really can't argue with you on that one.
So there's those. Basically, you got the two running backs, which will fall like Brees Hall goes one, Walker, depending on the league, goes 2 to 5 somewhere in there, and then you got about 7 receivers. Where do you think Traylon Burks would fall within the basically everybody up until like Sky Moore, Christian Watson? Where would you have Traylon Burks?
I'd probably, I probably put him in the bottom, let's say, two of the first tier.
Yeah,
So I
I
mean,
think we're on the same page.
I would pick him over Sky Moore and Christian Watson. That's pretty fairly. Actually, I don't know. I might pick Pickens over Traylon Burks because I'm a Pickens guy, but most people would. Um,
You'd overpay, but if
but
you
yeah,
like
yeah,
him, yeah,
but yeah. I mean, Pickens, Jameson. I'd probably pick Traylon Burks over Chris Olave. I know Chris Olave is your boy.
yeah, I like
Um,
Olave more.
but yeah, he's in the bottom two or three of that first tier. I mean, I think the opportunities, like I said, the
He's starting to
opportunities
fall
there.
there. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
in the draft, he was up like 3, 4. Now he's probably five,
That's what I'm
six.
saying. Like, and of course, that first day of minicamp probably didn't help him any when he had to leave
We'll talk
practice.
about that later.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, so I mean, that probably hurt a little bit, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
So
so I'm gonna
who's your first overrated guy?
so I'm gonna stick with wide receiver here, and I'll kind of blend these next two in together. Of course, I'm gonna go with Christian Watson, and then my other guy's gonna be Sky Moore. So like before the draft, we said whoever lands with Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, they were going to be the guys, right? The guys that probably jump up the draft board. Now, of course, Sky Moore and Christian Watson were both, pretty high anyways before the draft, but landing with Mahomes and Rodgers that automatically shot him up the board. Like you said, maybe even picking him over guys like Chris Olave, maybe Traylon Burks, them in that kind of range. I think that's a lot to ask. I think Christian Watson filling in. He does have some drops coming in from North Dakota State, smaller school, playing with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I think it might take a while to get on the same page with Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't seem like he works well with those rookie guys. And then as far as Sky Moore, I'm just not trusting with Pat Mahomes. I know Pat Mahomes is great and he fed Tyreek Hill, but let's be honest. I don't think Tyreek Hill or Sky Moore is anywhere near what Tyreek Hill is. And I think that's what people see in Sky Moore. I think people see like Tyreek Hill numbers, and think that's that's a lot to ask. And I think it's too much, honestly. Definitely overrated for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the trend we see here is our three guys that were drafted with the thought of plug and play.
Yep.
They were like Sky Moore was drafted to plug and play Tyreek. He's not going to do that. They thought the other year Mecole Hardman was going to be the plug and play for Tyreek, not because of his production. Because I just went and looked it up. His college production was poop, man.
Yep.
Mecole Hardman never got over 543 yards in college, but they thought because he was so fast, they basically Al Davised him, right? They thought he was so fast. He's Tyreek Hill because that was the year Tyreek was supposed to be suspended, but he didn't get suspended, and then he got karma. But and then the same thing with Watson. Watson's popping in there, and he's supposed to be Adams, and no one's going to be Adams. I think it's going to be a combination of them. I mean, the good news, I think, if I had to pick one of these two guys, I'm probably saying I think Watson's going to be better than Moore off the bat because of the situation. Because Sky Moore, I look at it, I'm like, I'm not a big fan of. I like Juju. I don't mind Juju. I don't mind like Mecole Hardman. I think might take that step. It would make sense this year. I don't think he's gonna be great, but I mean he's gonna be their speed receiver, and then you got MVS dropping balls, and then Travis Kelce. So you're looking at guys who have played the game, and they've played with decent players. So they're not. I don't know. There's just something like. Sky Moore is going to start the season as number 4, having to work his way back up, and Travis Kelce's number 1. Christian Watson, who really on the team is a better receiver than him? I mean,
Alan Lazard.
Who on the team is a better receiver than him? Like, Alan Lazard should start the season as the 1. I don't think he will. I think they'll just move people around, and
and they still had the rookie from Amani Rogers.
Yeah.
He didn't even see the field last
No,
year.
Amari Rogers, they hate they I was reading something like, yeah, I was researching Christian Watson as I had some bids on him, I was like, man, and then there's something like Amari Rogers, terrible. Terrible. I was like, yeah, it was pretty bad.
So yeah, so I mean, yeah, but like I think the opportunity is better for Christian Watson than it is for Sky Moore. But I don't know. It's a lot to pay for those two guys,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, but then again, you'll disagree with me on this. In this draft, they're probably about where they're supposed to be.
You're right. Yeah, I
Stream
mean, you.
situation, they're 9 and 10, 11 and
Oh, yeah,
12 somewhere in there. So maybe where they're, but still overrated by the big key
yeah. I
thing.
just don't. I think people expect too much out of them just
Yeah.
because of they
If you
got.
draft those guys, if you draft them, wait. Don't drop them the first week because they stink. And by the way, you just got outbid on Justin Ross.
I
But
got out. You're about to get outbid on Keontae
but it's only an hour and 57 minutes away.
because if I'll probably go do it here in a second
It's only an hour and 57 minutes away.
because I got swiped out of Sam Howell too.
It's only
All right, we got.
an
All
hour
right,
and
you got to
57
keep it
away.
going.
Anyway, I'm gonna go to my overrated guy, and this is a guy who first round quarterback. They never fail. Pittsburgh Steelers are a great organization, but it's Kenny Pickett. No, he didn't go. If you're a stellar quarterback, you're going to go earlier. After that, you have great coaching. So I don't know, but Kenny Pickett, this year is the year of the meh quarterbacks. That could be the big thing of why I think he's overrated. But the big reason for me is if you are in a super flex league, you've got to take Kenny Pickett early. So you're going to give up. I mean, it's going to be. You're going to take. He's going to fall really early in the league, and I think it's too much to pay for. If Kenny Pickett in Superflex was going 2.5, that's fine. That's where Malik Willis might go. But Kenny Pickett's going up there, and you're giving away one of these receivers who could be really good for a guy who maybe will be good. And with his teeny tiny hands, I don't know if he can hold on to that ball. So Kenny Pickett's my second overrated, and it's like these four guys for me. It's a gut feeling. It's not like Kenny Pickett was a stellar player, but I just don't see the. They're going to want him to once again plug and play. They want him to be 2015 Ben Roethlisberger. That's probably the year he was suspended, but
Yeah,
but,
yeah. I mean, I agree with you. So I'm just going to skip over to my underrated guy here real quick because my underrated guy is Kenny Pickett, kind of the opposite because the opportunity. So a starting quarterback, like in the NFL, and probably I would say he's going to be the starter coming in. That's my personal, and if not
Mitchell
within the first,
Trubisky.
yeah, or over the first couple of weeks. So, and of course, he's with the Pittsburgh Steelers, a solid, or you couldn't have asked for a better spot for this kid to go to. Steelers are just good all the time. It's run the right way. And they picked him up right in their backyard. So they know this guy really well. They drafted him in the first round. I know he's got small hands, but if you're drafting a quarterback in the first round, he's going to play. They expect him to play. And I think people are just scared to jump in on the hype. I don't like. I'm not a huge fan. Don't get me wrong, but I think where he landed was a perfect spot for him to succeed. I mean, he's already got a good team around him. The organization's run really, really well, and I think it's set up good for him. He's a first round quarterback. Man. He's going to get opportunity. It's all you can ask for is opportunity.
I mean, I can't argue with anything you said, but it's just one of those things. Like so. Our overrated guys, I had Burks and Pickett. You had Watson and Moore, and your first underrated guy was Pickett. I'm going to follow it up. Well, if Traden Burks isn't going to be spectacular, who is going to be great on that team? And it's the best player in shorts in Tennessee. That would be Kyle Phillips, 5'11", 191 out of UCLA. He's going to be their slot guy. So he's not going to get. He's going to be a PPR machine. They say he's got the energy. He's that shifty little guy that's going to be down there. He had 10 touchdowns last year as a redshirt junior.
So I just want you to know, I literally have no idea who this guy is. So where did he go to school at?
UCLA,
Uh,
5'11", buck 77. He put on some weight for the pros. He's your standard. You're gonna call him. Everybody's gonna call him Wes Welker.
yeah, I got you.
Um,
He's a white dude.
yeah.
Oh,
So, and he he's gonna play the same role.
gotcha.
And they have no tight end in tennis. They drafted a tight end, but who knows? They have no. I mean, Robert Woods is going to be slow to come back, or he might be back. We'll see. But then they got AJ Brown part two, so they got to throw to someone. Derrick Henry can't run 700 times, so that's.
I
I got
mean,
him for $1, and I just think in leagues where you get points for receptions, you want the guy that's going to have a ton of receptions. He's not going to be a wide receiver one. But as far as underrated, I just literally he's set on a draft board for $1 for 8 hours,
yeah, because
and
I didn't know who he was.
and that was perfect for me. So I don't know who a lot of the guys talked about 2 months ago, but now I do. But that was perfect for me to get a little a good. If you're looking for guys to fill in those, like we start 11 guys on that team, he's not going to be my wide receiver one, but he could be my last flex guy, and he'll get 5 catches, 50 yards. That's 10 points a week right there. Boom.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's possible. Like the only thing I had to say about it, going back to just the way the offense is going. There's just not a lot of passing volume. I don't think Tannehill is just going to be chucking the ball for 4,500 yards. And if Robert Woods comes back healthy, I mean, it might not be this year, but it might be next. It might be next year. Like I think they just draft a rookie last year. They'd already given up one. He
Yeah,
failed.
Keeney,
Nah, that
West.
was another one. There was
No,
another
there's.
one.
Oh yeah. Oh golly, I lost him. I was too busy trying to because
Because
Kyle Phillips is a fifth. He was 163rd overall pick.
I just dropped the receiver that they drafted last year in a couple of leagues. So
Yeah, I know. I'm stuck on his name right now, but I'll go into my last underrated because we've been chatting for a while and talked about grills and things. And it's my new. It's got to be a tight end if I'm talking about him. We're talking about Greg Dulcich.
yeah, he got bit up too. Did you see that?
Yeah, dude, he got over. So he's back there. So I'm back in the maybe having a chance to get him. We'll see what happens. But we are looking at a beast of a man, big dude. We're looking 6'3", 245, stepping into Denver. He is your big tight end with good hands that you want. Last year he was at UCLA as well. So I mean he's playing with Kyle Phillips, so he's got to be amazing. And he's averaging last year 17 yards per reception. The year before 19.9. As a redshirt junior this year, falls into a good situation. Russell Westbrook, wrong sport. Russell Wilson, if he has a decent tight end, takes care of those guys, and if he's smart, he throws to the biggest guy he has. Problem with Dulcich is he is going to be behind Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton and Tim
Well,
Patrick.
and
But
aren't they still high on Albert O as well? I mean, isn't
as I'm falling in love with Greg Dulcich, they are to a point, but they're looking at size, like with what Dulcich can do as a freak athlete. Like he's not going to be a this year guy. This is a dynasty one totally, and most rookies should you should think of them in dynasty versus looking at what they are going to do this year. Like you're not for every Randy Moss you have that guy from Tennessee that we can't think of. So
what was his name?
I'll look it up. But
But yeah, so while you're looking that up, yeah, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about this guy either. I know the tight end class wasn't very popular this year.
Des Fitzpatrick,
Yeah, there you go. All right,
4th round.
but I mean, he seems like a big dude. Like I said, still, I don't know the guy all that well. There's probably not going to be a lot. I don't know how much do you think the Denver going to throw this year?
I think more. I think they're gonna throw more than you do, and I just think they do have Ingram come back. Javonte Williams is gonna catch a bunch of balls. I think he'll probably have a Kamara type season before Kamara started running. I think that'll be sort of his role again because he's a stud, but they brought back Gordon to torture us all. And so I think they're going to sling, and the reason they're in the West is going to be a bloodbath.
Oh, you're
They're
right.
going to have to sling it. So what made me fall in love with Dulcich, there was this word that popped up at some articles I was reading. It was Kelsey. and I was like, oh,
Oh
joy.
yeah, I mean, as
You don't
soon
hear
that
Kelsey. That's one thing they've worn. I haven't heard a lot of guys called Kelsey.
I mean, if he's, I mean,
And
I guess we'll find out quick. I mean, if he's earning reps over Albert, I mean, I think we'll be able to see that pretty early. So, I mean, if he's out there on the field, that's going to be the key. I mean, as long as you're hearing his name from time to time on the field, he might. I mean, if he's that good of an athlete, I mean, and if he could take over that number one tight end spot, I mean, it's very possible. Even I don't think Russell Wilson's really supported very many tight ends. Well, was Jimmy Graham? Was he there? Was he the quarterback when Jimmy Graham was catching all these touchdowns?
yeah, he had Jimmy Graham come up for a couple of years. Old man broken Jimmy Graham, but he saw like that touchdown seasons.
Oh yeah, but it was so
He
yeah.
made Disley look good for 3 games.
Man,
Then he
Disney.
got hurt. Then he looked at 2 games. Then he got hurt.
That guy's what a story about that guy.
He was so good for 3 games.
So we'll get to mine real quick. I'm gonna go with another quarterback. I think this is another quarterback. I'm not saying he's in the greatest position as Kenny Pickett was because he's not. We're gonna go with Desmond Ritter here. I want to say he's going to play at some point this year, but I can't say that he's going to. But I think he's better than most people think. I mean, he's been a starter pretty much this whole time in Cincinnati. He's turned Cincinnati into a winner. They drafted him in the third round. I mean, there's been several quarterbacks drafted here lately that's been in that.
Also Wilson.
I mean, Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Desmond Ritter could be just as good as Dak Prescott. I'm not saying he can be as good as Russell Wilson, but I think he can be just as good as Dak Prescott. So, I mean, they're giving him some options. He's got Kyle Pitts, and then they just drafted Drake London. Plus he can scramble a little bit. I'm not gonna say he's a great runner, but he can move. And I think people are kind of sleeping on that. It's Mariota, so he's not going to last long. But it's like another one of these guys that's just got the opportunity. Opportunity is key.
Opportunity is key. We'll see what happens, and I just have this feeling he's gonna be Josh Rosen.
Ooh.
But
Josh Rosen wasn't.
Josh Rosen's first round pick. So, but he's gonna get gypped like Josh Rosen. He might be a great player. I don't think Josh Rosen's a great player, but he fell into a similar situation. Josh Rosen was on that terrible Cardinals team. They were terrible. He was terrible. And then they drafted another quarterback. Ritter is on a terrible team.
So do you know who Ritter could, I don't want to say could be because it's not like this guy's all that great, but kind of following the same path of maybe like a Davis Mills. Like, so say Mariota gets hurt, Ritter comes in, plays just well enough or good enough to see some bright spots that they, oh, my bad, sorry, that they don't worry about drafting a quarterback high next year. They continue to build their roster, defensive linemen, offensive linemen. They stick with Ritter and help him out a little more. And then next year he can come in and boom, he might be in a much better spot.
Well, the problem is this only happens if the guy in front of you is Tyrod Taylor, because everywhere Tyrod Taylor goes, he gets hurt, and then you have a superstar.
What if Mariota is the new Tyrod Taylor?
then you got it. If I was Ritter, I would say, "Hey, coach, could you trade for Tyrod, please? Bring him in, let him start the first game because I want to be Justin Herbert. I want to be Davis Mills. Boom, there we go. I mean, wasn't Tyrod in Buffalo as well? Or they didn't cross? They didn't cross, did they? No,
he was in Buffalo at some point, but I don't know if that was the crossover point for Josh Allen. But yeah, but like I think he stands a chance to play, and if he can just show any semblance of being
Baker Mayfield, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, you're right. Baker Mayfield is another one.
Baker Mayfield, Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod's the man.
Yeah.
I think a little higher of Ritter. I think he's better than most people.
Yeah, I will take your. Yeah, but Josh Allen came here. I'll take you. We'll see.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him a lot because I really think the Josh Rosen problem is going to be what hits him up as he goes. But who knows? He could get in there and he could be slinging the rock to Bryan Edwards for at least 1,000 yards, 80 catches, and 7 touchdowns. Yeah, number 4 receiver. But anyway, Kyle Pitts has me a little worried. I got him on my best ball team. I just started drafting. So, but yeah, so those are our guys. Let's go back over them. Our overhyped guys, I had Burks and Pickett. JJ Wang had Watson and Moore. Our underrated guys, I had 2 guys JJ Wang's never heard of. That's how underrated they are, Phillips and Dulcich.
I
And
heard of Dulcich. I just don't
Yep.
know a lot about him. I had no idea who Kyle Phillips.
And Pickett and Ritter. So tell us what you think. If you disagree with us vehemently, crush us on Facebook. I want to hear someone finally argue with us about what they think we are doing as far as going it, or maybe later on in the season, one of us is going to be saying, "Ha ha, Kyle Phillips is the next Wes Welker, and
Hey,
Ritter
I
is
hope
the
he is.
next."
I got a draft. I got a draft tonight, so I'll make sure I'll get him as one of my later. It's a 5-round rookie draft, so I'll pick him up.
There we go. Yeah, unless Dulcich is there, you might have to take Dulcich.
I'll pick
But
both of them.
give us some wisdom about rookies as we wrap up our rookies and next week start talking about everything.
So the only wisdom that I got tonight is that you're about to no longer be the owner of Keontae Ingram because you currently have $0. I'm ready to about to bid it up another dollar. I thought I could get it with 46, but I was wrong. That's my only word of advice that I have. So as always,
My
best
word of
success
advice is don't trust your friends. Keep your enemies closer,
and
but
trust the process.
but be patient with rookies.
Always. Good show.